Hi, I'm Jessica Rees. This is my presentation for EDL 850, Module 1. A little bit about me personally. I grew up in a small rural community in a ranching family. We actually raised sheep with a long history of educators and supporting education. My granddad actually was a professor in grain science as well as being a grain geneticist for South Dakota State University. As well as a little fun history, my great-grandma actually lied about being married because back in the early 1900s when she started teaching, it was still looked down upon to be a married teacher. So she lied about that because that's what she loved to do. Uh, I graduated from Kansas State University in 2014 with a bachelor's in science and agricultural education. While I was at K-State, I was able to do the study abroad program and study agriculture in Australia, as well as study their culture and how they view agriculture. And it was really just an eye-opening experience and something I needed to do personally, and it's kind of cool to look at all my old pictures and be like, man, I want to go back. My high school ag teacher helped me to see my true potential and push me out of my comfort zones. I am not a natural talker. I'm a very quiet, shy person unless I really know you. And that's how I realized that ag ed was for me, because he was so influential in my life and made such an impact on making me a better person, a better student. Like doing things like job interview, leadership school, I was an officer, things that I never would have done if he hadn't invested his time in me. And actually, something cool now that I am an ag teacher, I actually got to do that for another student and watch her accomplish her dreams of being a state officer, which is huge. And I'm not going to lie, I cried when it happened because it was just something when I first met her, she's like, I want to do this. And um, I was able to help impact her and influence her and just help her along that journey. That was so cool to see. And I'm so glad that he helped me see that so I could help other students see that. Educational demographics. I am the agriculture instructor and FFA advisor at Hoxie High School. I just completed my third year teaching ag. I teach a range of classes from hunter safety, animal science, plant science, mechanics, welding, among others. It can be a variety of things if you know the ag field, which is awesome. Last year we had 95 students in our high school, with 57 of those students being involved in FFA or agricultural classes, which is awesome. We're above 50%. We like that. Our FFA also has a greenhouse that we use for classes, and we also have an annual spring plant sale, which the community always amazes me and supports us tremendously. This year they came in and supported us during the middle of a blizzard in May, and we still sold all of our plants, which is just awesome. We're a small rural community with the majority of students having an interest in agriculture or having a background in agriculture, so my content area is extremely important for our school, and it almost gives kids an outlet. You know, those students who aren't good in the classroom, they can come and, you know, I've had kids tell me, like, I'm only here to be in the shop today. And, you know, that makes me feel good. I'm sure it doesn't make their English teacher feel good, but I'm glad that I can be there and help those kids and offer that opportunity for them at school. Critical reflection. I think our district could do a few more of these things. Communication of federal laws and regulations and changes at the federal and state level. Our superintendent is really good about communicating to us. He's not in our building directly, so sometimes he's hard to get a hold of. But as far as if we know what's going on, you know, because you personally seek that information out. Board policies, I know there's a binder somewhere where they exist, but I couldn't tell you where that binder even is. Student handbook, we have it, not followed. I think it probably should be more followed, and that would eliminate a lot of the issues that we as teachers end up facing. Staff handbook, we don't even have one. As a young teacher, that would have been something that is extremely helpful. You know, you go into a new district and you want to know, how do I fill out a PO? You don't know. Okay, there's no handbook, nothing that kind of guides you when you first get somewhere. So you end up asking a lot of questions, which is good. It helps build the relationships, but it would be nice to have something like, oh, here's all your vital information. Here's where you find your transportation forms, leave forms, all that good stuff. Something that I think would be really beneficial to us as a staff that we could really unite on. Personal critique. What I'm comfortable with would be CTE funding. As an ag teacher, I'm in the area of CTE, career and tech ed. So I know that we get money from the federal and state based on how many kids we have in career and tech ed classes, what classes we offer, all those things. So I know a little about that. I'm still young, so obviously I'm always going to be learning more. I know about being a mandated reporter. Being the ag teacher, I spend a lot of times with students, and that helps us create relationships they don't have with any other teacher in the school, which then turns to me being an advocate for them quite often, which I love. I love that they're comfortable with me. I will be there. They know that. So I know about being a mandated reporter. What I need to learn more about is special education. I have never had a parrot in my classroom, even though I have lots of kids on IEPs, which I like because, a lot of times kids with IEPs, they need that hands-on stuff, and that's what I offer, and I love that. And I love to see them succeed in school when they normally are like, I don't want to be here. Allocation of funds. I know we get funds. I don't know how they're determined to be allocated at all. Insurance laws, especially with travel. As an ag teacher, I travel a lot with kids, sometimes 2-3 times a week, and we'll be gone for a week at a time. Am I more of a insurance liability to the district? How do we deal with the kids on those? What do I need to be doing as far as making sure I'm obeying those laws? And then just in general, I'm a young teacher. I know that, so I'm constantly seeking out information and just trying to stay on top of that. My plan proposal for making myself more knowledgeable in those areas. I am pursuing my master's program in educational administration. I just started this summer. Professional development. As ag teachers alone, we already have 2 big conferences a year, and I always try to make it to those because, one, it's a lot of good bonding time with other teachers of the state, and it's a great way to see other teachers and ask them how they're doing things, and just gain more knowledge that way, as well as they put on workshops with the state and see what's changing, what's staying, all that kind of good stuff. Self-driven research. I like to watch the news. I like to be in those online communities where it's going to talk about those changes. And then our service center is really good about coming to our school, and they're good about sending out emails. So I just need to be sure that I'm staying on top of it myself. And if I'm curious about something, they can probably help me out. So this is my presentation for EDL 850 Introduction. Hope we all have a great summer.